All right. Hey, everybody. This is DayTraderRockStar, and this is a market radar for the week of September 7th. This is the first time I'm talking all day. I'm going to let my voice rest. I've been in the office and stuff. Haven't been feeling too good this week. I apologize for the lack of enthusiasm on the show. It's just I've had an awful cold all week, and it's the first time I really got hit with a bad cold in a few years. It's like sore throat, everything. But that's, beyond it. I feel a little bit better, talking. I'm feeling my voice out right now. Um, Feels a little bit better. Hopefully by Tuesday, when the market reopens, we'll be back in full force. But I have a fantastic video for you today. Now, the video is going to be split into two parts. The first part is the market radar, talking about the market conditions. And then the second part, I usually do my HPS watch list. And as you know, we talked about last week, the volatility that came into the market. Really, we had some levels below us that was, kind of keeping us cautiously on the sideline. Not as much on the sideline. We're taking some good trades. We're taking real fast and short trades, smaller positions. But basically, we have the potential for a retest of those lows that came in earlier 2 weeks ago, on that Monday flush. And that brings us down on the futures all the way down into 1830 level. So, today's market, yeah, we were down. You can see the red bar on today's market. But, we've had a red day, 2 green days, a red day. I mean, Monday markets will be closed, but China will be open back up over the weekend or Sunday night, and that might affect the futures. And then we have our Tuesday open, so anything can happen. And with that said, with the HPS watch list, we still have to be, very cautious on picking, because we have such a big range here that's starting to play out, the big candles and things. And if we go through just a couple, what I do is I do a nice little scan every week of my HPS stocks, and this is a watch list that I tend to pay attention to each day and scan. And you will notice on the chart you're seeing a lot of spikes down, and then we got a little rotation back up. So a lot of the indicators got a little pushed out of their normal areas, and they're kind of a little bit more volatile. The prices got a little bit more volatile, and it's just harder to gauge if we're going to get that bigger pullback back down and retest those lows, or how far back do we go before we push back higher? Is there a short to be played out or a long to be played out here? Remember, we really base our trades on market trends. We want to have the market in your favor. So it's important that that's our first line of business, is determining where do we see the market going, and then to place our trades according to that. So again, like I said, you're seeing a lot of candles based off of a couple Fridays ago when we gapped down and we chopped back up, and now we're kind of just hesitating. We're not getting any HPS setups, and that's the important thing about the HPS setups. The HPS setups give you multiple indicators lining up. You have the stochastics, you have the trend lines, you have the reversals, you have a lot of the playbook plays. But what we're seeing here is, you see the daily stochastics are flatlining. Lots of times the 60-minute time frames are kind of, in this case, we're pulling back a little on the 60, but it's really having the multiple time frames line up and act right. It's really about that daily trend. So there is some stocks that are just chopping around here. You can actually see a lot of the daily stochastics are midpoint here in the 60s, 50 zones. We pop back up. We kind of consolidated. We could easily go in two directions here. We could actually move back down, or we could actually push a little bit higher. It's just a tough call right now, especially there's a lot of news out coming out of China lately. We had our jobs report today, came in less than expected. The market here sold off some. We're going to go into that a bit. But like I said, I have something very special in the second part of this video. So I think, when we talk about what we're going to do for next week, I think you're going to like this. All right, so like I said, let's go back to the S&P here. And, I'm not going to, make any fantastic calls here that we're going to run back up. We're going to drop back down to the lows. You can see what we are on the daily. The daily is kind of chopping around here. We had a nice rebound, oversold on the daily. It's always good, but we kind of had a failure and a pullback, then a bounce, and a continuation. My gut feeling tells me that retracement back down on the futures, back to what we call a scene of the crime, That goes back out a couple Mondays ago. I think it was right about here. That was our first target mentioned last week. You know, if we are going to see some downside. Let me see. Is that the area? 1830. Yeah, that's the area. So I'm going to zoom out here, and you can see. You probably remember this chart from last week. We talk about the targets, and what happened is we actually rallied up, rally, and now starting to turn back down. Actually, there's a lot of time going through. We're at 1921 here, but we don't look at that big picture as much as we're looking at the smaller time frames. So let's go back here to the what we're looking at here on the S&P cash chart, and again, you're seeing some of the short-term indicators kind of, you know, doing their stuff. You know, the hourly got oversold. We rotated up. We got quickly overbought. We rotated back down. We got oversold. You know, this has been a good indicator just on a short-term basis, having the bias, having the wind in your sail, slowly, you know, moving down. The big question is, again, when we open up Tuesday, we're going to have a gap up, gap down. The way this market opens up, and you know, and the way the movement we've been seeing, there's no doubt in my mind we're probably going to see a big open, one direction or the other. And so we're going to keep it, you know, kind of tight on the watch list this week. And again, with looking at that hourly chart, we have a really nice hourly oversold level, but it's embedded in an embedded stochastic, you know, having about 3 periods of that 60-minute time frame, 3 candles, really not doing much, kind of embedded here. You know, that tends to show some more negative action in the future. The 5-minute chart here kind of grinded up over, you know, into the close and then ended up overbought. You know, just a gut feeling, you know, depending on what I think news is going to move the market next week. You know, I think China's going to come back into play. So that could go either way. So it's kind of a guessing game on how that's going to play out. We're going to pay attention to that 5-minute time frame. It does work out great for the intraday trades. You know, but as I said, we're kind of extended here. And that 60-minute time frame is a little oversold. So you have a couple different channels, different time frames here kind of lining up. Let's see what we have here. And believe me, I'm more excited to get to the second part of this video here, because that's where I want to concentrate on. So we're not seeing any type of channel. We're actually broke down a little. Again, slightly bearish going into next week. If I had to take a guess, the way China's been affecting this market and how everything is, I would, you know, wouldn't be surprised to see a gap down and a retest of those last 2 Monday lows back down to that 1800 level. So we're at 1921 on the cash. You know, we take a look at the cash lows. It was about 1867. Now that's a decent amount. That's a decent move down here, about 60, 70 points down further on the S&P cash to bring us back down to those lows and possibly even lower. I think there's a bearish market beginning, you know, or the bull run has ended. No, I think there's a little choppiness due to China. Here's your weekly. Remember we talked about the weekly for a second. More than a second we talked about. There's a lot of crap there on my charts because of the weekly. Let me see if I could zoom in here a little. And the weekly hasn't got, here we are, we can see a little bit better. Weekly has just started to get down into the oversold level, and that's something that we don't see that often. The last time the weekly got really oversold was back here in 2012, where we considered the market was really the last big pullback in the market at the end of 2012, or the beginning of 2012, 2011, 2012, and then we got oversold here. And then from that point on, we've been rallying. So this is really the first time we've gotten back into that oversold level. It doesn't happen too often. That's, you know, that's pretty significant on the weekly chart. Now, does it mean it's harder to time that weekly, but it is getting back down there. It is getting back down there. And we could probably go back out here and do some back tests and take a look at each time that weekly's gotten oversold. You know, back here we had a nice rally. Here we had a couple bounces. Nice rally there. So this weekly never got oversold, or it got into the oversold level 100%, but a nice flag off of that. And again, like I said, this one is just, there's a lot of crap on the chart right now, so you can't really see it too clearly, but I'm going to, you'll see it next week when we talk about it a little bit more. Let's take a look at the hourly. One more time. Oh, come on. All right, so the object here is to make some money every day. I'm not going to wait on this market to tell us what's going to happen and feel a little bit better. There is opportunities in this market, and that brings us to the second part of this video. Like I said, the first part of the video, not much going on. The radar part of this, yeah, I have a little downside bearish potential here. I'm kind of leaning towards that. That's not 100%. I know news is going to play a part of this. We have that retest as we return to the scene of the crime. Everything's fine with that. But let's talk about making that money next week. I have a very special thing to show you, and I want to get to it right now. And I'd like to say that the members of Day Trading Radio are going to get to see that video. At this point, the video should turn off if you're not a member of Day Trading Radio. There's a lot of important information going out here. And so please, check out Day Trading Radio. Sign up, become a member, part of the members brigade. Brigade? How do you say it? Again, I haven't talked all day, so my tongue forgot how to work. But excited about this one. So we're going to cut this off here. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the show. Again, you could watch the show for free every day with the commercial interruptions and stuff. But I think you want to be part of this site because we got something really big coming for you. All right, have a good one, and I'll talk to you Tuesday, if not Monday.